Hi everyone, my name is Monique Apodaca, and this is my Module 1 for EDL 854, Building Finance. So some personal demographics to start out. I am born and raised, and still currently live and teach in Pueblo West, Colorado. I graduated from Colorado State University, Pueblo, with a Bachelor of Science degree in Liberal Studies. My degree covers elementary education, kindergarten through 6th grade, because technically at Colorado State University, Pueblo, you cannot major in education. And then I have an endorsement to teach English 7th through 12th grade. I currently work at this school right down here in this picture, Swallows Charter Academy. It is a K through 12 school. Again, it is a charter school, so we are underneath a district, but we make a lot of decisions for ourselves. And this is my second year teaching 3rd grade, but I also completed my student teaching here, so I've been around Swallows Charter Academy for about 3 years now. Also, some more information about Swallows Charter Academy and my 3rd grade classroom. I implement flexible seating in my classroom, so I only have 6 real desks in my classroom. Otherwise, students sit on ball chairs. We have a bench that lines the back of my room. We have crates that I created with some padding so students sit on. We have sand chairs, a spring chair, and bean bags in my classroom for seating options. I also really rely on cooperative learning. I hate when it's quiet. My students would tell you the same thing. So I do really enjoy having my students work together. I feel like they can learn a lot of information from each other. And a fun fact is that my school, Swallows Charter Academy, received a BEST grant this year after trying for about 4 or 5 years for this grant. It is worth $20 million, and we are in the process of building our brand new structure. So this should be ready, they're saying. There's a lot of issues going on in the world right now, but we're saying that this school will be completed by the start of next school year, which will be very nice because I currently teach in a portable classroom, so a modular outside. It's a little bit run down, but I'm ready to be in a new school. So my 10 gleaned statements that I learned from these 4 articles. As you can see, I kind of took some away from each article. So we'll start with school principals, not formulas, should decide how to spend education dollars. So my first statement I took from this was a common myth is that principals are like CEOs of their schools with authority to make key decisions and strategically deploy resources. Now, I chose this quote from this resource for its significance that many principals don't have sole control of every dollar in their annual budget, but I think most people would think that they do. Number 2, decisions often are made by legislators and district level bureaucrats who are far removed from students in classrooms. And I think anybody that is a teacher realizes that many decisions for a school aren't truly made inside a school. So the significance of this quote is, majority of stakeholders that control these individual school budgets are far removed from the actual classroom setting. They don't know the students. They don't know the culture of the school. They're doing this from afar. Number 3, studies show providing principals with flexibility can better align spending with school priorities. The significance of this quote, principals that are provided more flexibility within their budgets are able to provide specific needs for their school. If you haven't seen a school budget before, I was blessed to see one in this course I took recently. There are many categories in which a principal can draw funds from, but only specific needs can draw from those categories. So it becomes very difficult to fund multiple things that aren't listed under those specific categories. Still from the same article, number 4, mandates and staffing ratios that are seemingly beneficial often prevent principals from addressing their school's priorities and stifle innovative solutions. The significance of this quote: having to hire more staff to meet the ratio of staff to students. Now, the very first thing that comes out of the budget at a school is the payment of teachers and the benefits of those teachers and counselors and assistant principals and support staff. All of the staff's benefits and salary come out first, and then I learned that things come out afterwards. So this having to fund staff to student ratios keeps principals from spending much of the budget on priorities and other needs. So there's very little money left over if principals have to keep adding staff. At the state level, school finance formulas determine how dollars allocated to districts, virtually all of which contain allotments that are restricted for specific purposes. Again, school budgets are split into many separate categories, which are strict on what money can be spent on and towards, going back to my point earlier. As for the article of financial management functions of the school principal, my sixth gleaned statement was understanding the financial limitations and flexibility of the school. Set goals and formulate the right financial management strategies. Significant of this quote: principals need to evaluate goals and specific needs before budgeting annually. I think this is a good strategy so you know what leftover money can be spent towards in those certain categories. Number 7, regular and accurate accounting is a crucial step in the financial health of the school. The significance: a school's budget should be tracked by a principal or secretary regularly, not just annually. I learned in my course recently that budgeting is a lot easier for a principal if you have a secretary that is on top of things. If your secretary is monitoring this budget very frequently as you are overseeing it, you shouldn't have very many issues. And for our last article, who has control of money in schools? My first gleaned statement: I often compare budgeting to the process of remodeling a home. There are structural issues to consider, availability of funds, and a multitude of decisions to be made along the way to design and implement a plan. The significance of this quote: the remodeling of a home can be compared to the evaluation of a school's budget. There's issues within the school to consider. There's only a certain amount of funds available, and of course decisions will need to be made throughout the decision-making process and the budgeting process. Number 9, it's commonly believed that the central office is best positioned to make determinations of what resources each school needs in a given school year. The significance of this quote: central offices are deemed to be in the best position to make decisions of needed resources for each school annually. I tend to disagree. I've worked in a district where the school is in charge of its funds, and I feel like that is way better to recognize the needs of the students and of the school than a central office. And number 10, in schools that employ site-based budgeting, central office decentralizes this control, and school principals hold the autonomy to decide how funds are allocated based on enrollment numbers and needs of their individual school. So this is called site-based budgeting, when the principal is in control of the budget. Of course, the principal would need to know very much about budgeting in order to be in control of it. Principals determine what funds are used for. So they see needs, they recognize the needs and of students and of the facility. And then funds are determined for that school based on the enrollment numbers, so how many kids are attending your school, and the needs of each individual school. So a lot of current cities go based off of, okay, are you in a low economic city, portion of a city? Do you need more money to run than a normal school that is achieving at this point? Okay, so what I have and have not seen my principal do. I have seen my assistant principal. She is in charge of the budgeting because we are at a charter school. She has presented to our charter board, so our board of representatives for our charter. I've seen her present the budget to them. I have attended multiple of our board meetings, so I do know who our accountant is. And here I put alongside the director of school services. That is the technical name of our assistant principal that runs the budget. The assistant principal has also told teachers multiple times that our printing budgets are tight, because she doesn't want to raise printing limits on that because that is pulling out of our supplies costs. And of course, with the new school being built, I've seen that same assistant principal spend $20 million of a grant towards the new school being built. And in this new school, we're paying for the structure, we are getting a brand new playground. We are also, even though this new school is K-8, we're still going to knock down and build a new high school for 9th through 12th, all new furniture, etc. What I have not seen her do is much of the behind the scenes things. So I have not seen our actual budget and how she creates it. And I personally have not seen the budget be presented to solely staff beyond the actual board meeting. So we haven't had a staff meeting in which the budget is presented to our staff. And my future concerns, I'm pretty good at budgeting, in my opinion. But I am stressed about the millions of dollars that will be in my sole control if it's site managed. I am also unsure of a few budgeting terms, so I feel like I'll need to learn those during this course. And like any principal or administrator, I am concerned about being in the red, so being in the negative of spending more money than I actually have. So I'm hoping that this course will teach me any of these future concerns I might have and hopefully calm my concerns. That is all I have for this EDL 854 Module 1. I'm looking forward to this course with you all.